Look who's here with me, Hawk. Welcome to the Walkabout, our Tuesday program, during which I introduce you to people of interest, people who you're curious about. Sometime I'll mic up with our members. Today, as promised, we deliver with Hawk.
How you doing?
Yeah, they're very curious about you. As you know, Hawk's been working here for years. He takes guests out on historical rides, often on his own horse, Cazador. And he was gracious enough, because this is a big undertaking, Hawk was gracious enough to do some of the setup that he organizes for guests he takes out on rides. And you all have seen the teepee down here. And we thought you'd like to know what happens in this teepee. And so I'm not going to ask you too many embarrassing things. It's a family show. So I know that they're waiting.
I have nothing to hide.
He has nothing to hide.
And if you believe that.
And if you believe that, we have a bridge for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, without further ado, why don't we go on in? Well, actually, before we go on in, let me ask you about the teepee. This is an actual teepee. This is able to be put up by one person. And how many poles?
It's easier if you had two.
It's easier with two.
But one can do it.
Okay. And by the way, this is our microphone.
Okay.
This chinchilla. How many poles? Is there a standard number of poles? Or
you know, when the Indians had teepees, in the original time period of when they lived in them on a regular basis and stuff, they had poles anywhere from 6 poles all the way up to 20.
Okay.
But it just depends, because sometimes they got into an area and they couldn't find very many poles. So you can set up a teepee with very few poles, and it's not quite as strong.
Right.
But you can most people use 17.
Wow,
okay. That's the flat poles, which I do not have. They're laying down right here.
Okay, the flat poles.
Keep the flaps apart, so the smoke, when you have a fire in the
right.
center of the teepee, goes up and out. Not just through the teepee.
Gotcha. It goes up through the top because there's a little bit of air. Okay. So is there a standard size?
This one is a 16-foot.
Okay.
It's probably fairly common, 614 to 18. Right in there is the most common. They had bigger teepees up to 24. I've even heard of 30-foot teepees, but those are council teepees.
Yeah.
So that's when they would get together to talk about something serious.
Okay.
You know, and
this is probably
get a lot
efficient for heat. I bet that there's maybe some of that's involved.
Well, there's a liner that goes on the inside. In the summertime, they didn't use liner as much and stuff, and they'd open it up this way in the summertime. But in the winter, they'd close it. They'd have the liner, and a lot of times they would stuff grass between the liner, because the liner went on the inside of the poles, and then you have the cover which goes on the outside. And if they stuffed grass in there, it'd keep it a little bit more.
Okay.
But mainly it was just building a nice enough fire that it would keep everybody warm. They still had to wear a lot of clothes.
Okay.
40 below is 40 below, no matter what you say.
And this is canvas, but obviously back in the day it was hide.
It is. And canvas came into being sometime around the late 1600s, but it was accessible to the Indians for sure by the end of the 1700s.
Okay.
And it was revolutionary.
I bet it was.
You can imagine a 16-foot teepee, and I've seen them this way. A 16-foot teepee made out of buffalo skins, and it weighed somewhere around 1,000 pounds.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they had to carry that from place to place because Indians were nomadic, and they traveled all the time. So
interesting. Yeah, that must have been a huge difference.
There was.
Huge.
So when they could get canvas, it was like, wow. Big deal.
Awesome. It's gorgeous. And rope, obviously, you tie the top. So I think I didn't really help you put it up, but for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So what you do is he put 3, right? You put 3 together.
With 3, and you make
tie
a tripod. So you have 2 together over here and 1 over here, and you split them apart, and they're tied at the top. And then once you pull with a rope, and it comes up, and then you take one of the 2 on this side and take it around, and then it stands up by itself. Then you can kind of place it where you and then start putting the poles.
And it looks like
all the way around.
After you tied those 3 together, you have a long rope, and after you get everything tucked in there, then you can just walk around and lash it.
Yeah, you walk around and keep tightening it as you walk around. Sometimes you'll take a pole and push it up if it can go up high enough.
Sure.
And you can see how tight it is up there and everything.
Sure.
You go around about 5-6 times.
That's awesome.
And then you bring it down, and usually you tie it. This is the door flap here, but usually you tie it off to the side. And it comes this way. And that way, if any water, if it's raining, it'll get on the rope and down. It will run down here onto the ground and out.
Now that is smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Yeah, well, people are smart. People are smart out after a period of time.
And if you were out in the middle of nowhere and needed shelter, you could make one of these tiny.
Yeah. I mean, they made small ones.
Yeah. That's awesome.
In different ways. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a sweat lodge.
I've been in one sweat lodge,
And they'll bend willow poles over in a dome and then throw canvas or deer, elk hide over it and stuff.
So hot.
You can make a really quick little shelter that way.
Too hot in the sweat lodge for me.
Yeah.
I stuck my hands out underneath it to get some cool air. Okay.
Got to be tough.
I made it.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to head in, and you can show us a few of your stuff. Sure. A few of your things. Sure. Awesome. We're going to go on in. Oh, man.
Come on in, and
this is awesome.
Sit down right here.
All right. Are there rules to where people sit?
There, to a degree, the guests and stuff there are, but you have to really get into ethics of TP, and some people are really into that.
Okay.
I just set up a TP, and I stay in it at Rendezvous.
Yes.
Or I'll take it to hunting camp sometimes and set it up, and then a lot of times I set it up on my property. And of course, we set it up here at Dunrovin, and guests on his store come in.
So you mentioned Rendezvous. Before we get into the authenticity of this, tell us about it. I thought the Rendezvous was fascinating. You just came back from one, and you took your horse Cazador. And how many miles did you ride to get there?
It was about 40 miles going in. And
how long did that take you?
That's a short one. About 2.5 days.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Okay.
So, but I mean, usually if we do a long ride to a Rendezvous, it's considered somewhere between 300 and 600 miles. So we usually take off a few weeks for those.
And you don't put up a teepee every stop?
No. On those rides, we don't even take a teepee. We'll take a canvas to make a diamond shelter, just a quick, and we only set up a shelter if it looks like it's going to rain.
Otherwise, you have a sleeping bag or bedroll?
Right. And you just throw the canvas over you, and I mean, if it's light sprinkling or snowing or something, you're fine. But if it's going to be nasty weather, you'll set up a nice shelter.
Awesome. So
everybody likes to stay dry.
Warm and dry. That's
Even mountain men.
Even mountain men. Tell me about what you're wearing.
Well,
this is the real deal.
It is.
And it's very old.
It is. I've spent a lot of years researching the fur trade, and that's what opened up the American West.
Right.
Is the fur trade, and people came out west, and they adopted. Of course, they had modern clothes for the time. Like most of the people would leave St. Louis was a big drop-off place where they started heading
Lewis and Clark.
Right. And what they would be wearing is a lot of wool stuff. Well, it wears out after a period of time if they're going to stay in the mountains very long. And so they started adopting Indian ways. They would trade for clothes from the Indians. Of course, they would have trade goods and stuff, which I have a few and stuff. Yeah. That the Indians had never seen before, and so they really wanted it.
Right.
And so they would trade for that kind of thing. And they ended up getting clothing like this. And they would have the Indians make it sometimes a little different to where it was kind of a cross between Indian design
and European clothing.
And European clothing.
So I'm thinking of basically a suit made out of hide.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a shirt that's made out of antelope hide.
Wow.
These are pants, and they're made out of deer hide.
Okay.
And you want the shirt to be out of antelope because it's thinner and it's more lightweight.
Okay.
You can feel it if you want.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just it's almost like a thin flannel shirt. It's that flexible.
It is.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But it breathes. And this is all hand stitched. No machine ever touched this shirt. It was all hand stitched.
Okay.
And not only was it hand stitched, it was hand stitched with a rawhide sinew.
Really?
And so the whole shirt is, except for the red wool that's getting pretty worn,
right,
is all completely and totally out of deer skin.
Astounding.
Deer.
Astounding.
You know, and I've had this shirt for a few years. Had it on quite a few rides. I wore it on a ride I did from Mexico to Canada.
Oh, you did that ride?
The Texas-Mexico border all the way to the Montana-Canadian border. And this is all I wore.
Wow.
The whole way.
24/7.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old is that?
And I smelled really good.
I bet you did. You smell like an animal.
I like smelling like.
Yeah. How old is this?
This shirt is.
Do you think?
Probably 10 years old.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not 100 years.
It was new about 10 years old. No.
It looks like it's been well worn, though, Hawk.
It has. I put all the miles on it, and it looked totally different. This is an Indian woman's dress.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot heavier.
It's a lot heavier.
Completely out of deer hide.
Wow.
And it's brain tan deer hide. And brain tan means that they take.
Yes, I just read about this.
Yeah, and they tan the hide, and that's the only way the Indians tan for the most part.
Was the brain of that?
Other little ways, but the main way they tanned was brain tan.
Well, using the whole animal.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have it there.
There's enough brains in every animal to tan its own skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Including us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So that's a little more newer looking. You can see kind of what the direction, but now this doesn't look anything like that.
Awesome. What is this?
This is.
Can you show them a little bit?
A couple of medicine bags here.
Yeah, you have a couple on your belt and.
Yeah. Well, mainly right here, but this is my medicine bag I've been wearing for a lot of years. And medicine is something to the Indians that they felt like was powerful. It was some animal part or something a friend gave them or something maybe that they got. Look at
there's a dog in there.
Looking in the hole. And they would carry it with them, and they felt like they got strength from it and stuff. It would be the same thing as if your mother or your father, if you were very close to them, gave you something before they passed on, and then it's really important to you, and you might put it in something to keep it safe.
Picture in a locket, for example.
Exactly. Okay. You might carry it with you the whole time and stuff. So that's kind of what medicine is, and nobody ever tells what they have.
Oh, is that right?
That's kind of the way.
That's kind of the thing.
Stuff.
Well, it's special. It's precious.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is a coin that I had made up for a ride that we did back in the mid '90s, and I had a beaver, a brass beaver slaughtered on an original 1810 coin.
Nice.
And I picked the 1810 coin because our ride that we were doing that year traced a trail that was traveled by a guy named Joseph Rutherford Walker, and back in the early 1800s and stuff. So I had this coin made, had the date put on it, got my medicine sign. It's pure silver, and then the original beads from the 17 and 18.
Is that right?
Yes. All these beads are very, very old.
Various semi-precious stones, wood, maybe? No.
And other people have wore these. I'm not the first. But
that's
who knows
nice.
If they could talk.
Right, exactly.
A good story.
Exactly. That's great.
So, and in this bag, I had a good friend of mine beaded the bag right here with little seed beads, original pattern. And then in the middle here is my medicine sign. And it's quilled with porcupine quills. And the Indians used porcupine quills for many, many years before beads actually got traded to them so that they could start using beads then. But I love the porcupine quill. Wow. I have a good friend of mine that wrote a book on porcupine quilling, and she's just an artist.
Oh, gorgeous.
Just an artist.
Amazing stuff. All right. And you have
a lot of these beads from friends and people that gave them to me. Every time you go to a rendezvous or something, somebody gives you something.
How very cool! And you have moccasins on, which are made of what? Because those have to be pretty hardy.
The same thing, thick, brain tan.
Okay.
But what you do with the moccasins is you'll take tallow, like buffalo tallow, which is the fat, and you mix it with beeswax and different oils and stuff. and you make a paste out of it, and you put it in your moccasins, and it waterproofs them and helps them preserve them and stuff.
Okay.
These are brain tan, a couple of different styles.
Interesting.
These are pointy toe type. Right there. And these are called pucker toe. They're more of a rounded toe.
Yeah, actually, moccasin toe is what we call our boots now. You can buy boots. The round. Okay.
That and stuff. And these are all made out of brain tan. And they've had the tallow put on them many, many times. And you can see the bottoms are kind of wore.
Yeah, a little bit.
Pair. And it's just a lot of miles of walking. You don't always ride your horse. A lot of times you'll end up walking for a ways.
Now, do you feel more comfortable in these shoes?
Totally. When I put on my skin, and I put my moccasins on, and I'm ready to go, I feel totally different than I do when I wear modern clothing.
I bet you do. It must be awful to wear modern clothing.
So you got to try it at some point.
And
it's not for everybody.
No, but I got to tell you, sitting in here feels really good.
Yeah,
it feels really right.
It's comfy.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Most people that come into a TP, they don't know what everything is when they first come in and stuff. But as they sit there, they start asking questions and finding out more about the history of it.
The circle is really a great feeling. And I just talked about Mongolia and the gares, the yurts are round.
Right.
And I feel it's a very comforting feeling being in these things. Yeah. So tell me what else you do. Tell me about cooking.
Well, this here is a pan that I take on my rides. It's an original style that they would have had a blacksmith make back in the 1800s. The handle flips over so you can pack it in your pack, and it's got a hole in the end here so that you can take a stick, and I don't have one prepared here and stuff, but you stick it in the end.
Oh.
Cook.
Is that why there's a hole in it? Okay, no, I'm not.
That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
that makes sense.
But
okay,
that's for packing. This is called a bean pot, corn boiler, and it's the main thing that you use on a ride. I mean, you can cook stew in here and soup and almost anything. You can actually go down and get water and boil water so you have your coffee or whatever you're drinking. A lot of mountaineers drink tea.
Yeah, is that right?
It was a big trade item at the rendezvous.
Yes, it was.
Along with coffee.
Okay.
And this is my coffee pot.
Right.
I usually don't take it on long rides.
It's large.
Right. It's bigger.
It's a percolator. It's like a percolator?
Yeah, I take this in my cook pan and my cup, and that's it.
That's it. Okay.
But when you got a good camp and you can go into rendezvous and you have everything set up, you have all the amenities like anybody would have.
What do you use for utensils? Hands?
I don't have any with me right now, but I think I do. But they have a two-pronged fork. That dates back into the 1700s. And you'd have a fork, but mainly you'd have your knife. I mean, you skin with it, you cut, you can eat with it, and everything. So a knife is your number one tool.
Gotcha. You can do it, yeah.
But, some of the guys, they'll carry, and women, they'll carry a spoon or a fork.
Yeah, or a spork, like those camping things that are,
right, both.
Yeah. You should have just seen Huck's faces like, yeah,
no. You can tell the greenhorn.
Yeah,
the newbies, the beginners.
Yeah, right.
But most of the stuff's made out of copper and tin, and if it's made out of copper, they'll line the inside of it with tin because copper and brass can be acidic. Yeah.
And it affects your food.
It does. It affects your food and stuff. But so everything we have here, and then they had pewter a lot. Right. And this one sat by the fire too long, and you can see it melted right there.
Oh, wow.
So pewter's real soft.
Okay.
And it
is it lightweight? Or it's not
pretty lightweight.
Oh, it's pretty lightweight.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Nothing like the lightweight stuff they try to come up with for modern camping today, which some of that stuff's pretty ingenious. Yeah. But we stick with all the old stuff because we're trying to fit into a time period of the era pre-1840. 1840 was the last year of the rendezvous.
Okay.
And the rendezvous.
So I was going to ask you, the rendezvous is not something that you guys who are interested in this do. So that's the name of something.
A rendezvous was a French word that meant
get together,
coming together. And but back then a guy named William H. Ashley put an ad in the paper in the early 1800s, and he was looking for 100 enterprising young men. That's the way the ad was headed and stuff.
Right.
And he basically hired all these guys, and a lot of them are well-known people now. If you watch Western movies or read any history, there was Jim Bridger, Jedediah Smith, Joe Meek, Joseph Rutherford Walker, and different guys like that. And there's books written on every one of these people, too.
Now, were they society guys that decided we're going to go out here and rough it, or were they a variety of?
The majority of them were probably low-life people.
Okay, right. Limited jobs. Okay.
But there were a lot of them that were more distinguished, but they loved the life of adventure.
Right.
And those were the guys that went to the top, once the rendezvous started going. But Ashley got these 100 guys, took them out west. I think it was 1823. And he went with them the first time, and he left them there, got them all set up, geared out and everything, and left them there to trap beaver that whole year. And he said, we will rendezvous in this place, this big meadow. Next year, I will come here on this date, and we will meet here. You guys bring all the furs, and I'll re-outfit you for another year.
Wow.
And so that's how the rendezvous started. And not only did mountaineers come to it, but the Indians heard about it, and they started bringing furs to the rendezvous, furs that they had.
Okay.
And before you know it, there was as many as 3,000 people at a rendezvous, with the majority of them being Indians.
Yeah.
But they had whiskey. They ran out of whiskey 6 months earlier.
Right.
So you can imagine the kind of party.
Oh, God. Yes. Really nice.
It ended up getting crazy. So these rendezvous lasted till about 1840, 1841.
Okay.
And that was the last year of the rendezvous.
Okay.
And then that's when those guys went and got other jobs and became scouts for wedding trains or for the military and the army and stuff like that, because they knew the whole West and stuff.
Of course,
but we reenact rendezvous now. People come together, as many as 6,000 to 8,000 people at rendezvous. Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them are huge. And the big Western rendezvous. And all this can be looked up online.
Is that right?
And
do most people ride their horses?
Most people don't. Okay. Most people drive in, drop their gear, and then you have to drive out because they want all the camps completely, totally primitive.
Sure.
Nothing after 1840 is allowed into camp. And they have smaller rendezvous all over the United States. There's one here they have every year just outside of Missoula. And but the elite of all the rendezvous people, and the ones that are really into it and it's in their heart big time, are the American Mountain Men.
Okay.
And that is an organization put together by a guy back in the 60s. His name is Grizz. And he came back from Vietnam, and he didn't feel like he fit in anywhere.
Sure.
And so he just started this survival club called the American Mountain Men. And he looked to see through history who were the toughest that he could find, that in what era it was that they ended up being the biggest and best survivalists. Okay. And it was the mountaineers that came out west to trap beaver and live with as the Indians. Right. And of course the Indians were part of that too. Sure. Sure. So Indians come to the rendezvous and stuff. Oh, really? Okay. But the American Mountain Men is that's you have to do a whole bunch of different primitive things and prove yourself before you can actually get in. Okay. So. Okay. Wow. Are you ready to go? Huh? Are you ready? No. To go? No. Come on. Because I'm tricking out the inside of that 2-horse trailer to be like an apartment. No. No, but I mean, if this is going to be there another week or so, maybe I'll come and try the highline. I have to practice highlining the horse. Yeah. I'll probably highline the horse right here and sleep out here. Yeah. Come bring food, have a campfire, and spend the night here. It's fun.
I bet it's amazing.
And if you end up going to rendezvous, a lot of people, like I say, a lot of people just drive in, they set up perimeter camps and stuff. But if you end up going to a rendezvous and stuff, it just triggers all kinds of things in your head.
Does it?
All of a sudden, you start getting real interested in things you never knew existed.
I bet.
And stuff.
Now, do people go and just walk around and looky-loo?
They do.
Okay.
They have Traders Row, which is huge. If you go to the big rendezvous, there will literally be probably several hundred traders. And they're all trading this kind of stuff that you see right here.
Is that right?
And some of them specialize in making knives. Some of them specialize in making clothing. And you know, the medicine bag beaded or, you know, just all kinds of different, trading the beads.
Yeah.
And then,
wow, I wish, I'm going to kind of tilt this. Can I tilt this up?
Sure. You
got a lot of medicine bags in here, lots of beads.
Yeah, and those are all old beads. I don't ever...
Are they really?
Anything that's modern. Everything in there is at least 150.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In the basket even?
Yep. Old basket.
And you pick this stuff up at Rendezvous?
I pick it up from different traders and stuff here and there, but I do get some stuff from Rendezvous. I make the medicine bag.
You make the medicine bag?
And I sell them sometimes online and stuff or at Rendezvous.
Okay.
And,
the beads, oh, wow.
You know, they're strong on grass. That's grass.
It's amazing. It's really, I wish you all could be here because to just touch this stuff, just to touch this is amazing.
Yeah.
It does have, it has an energy to it.
Oh, it's got more than energy.
Yeah.
It's been around longer than, it's been around longer than our grandparents or
great-grandparents. And if these beads could talk, wow.
Yeah, they've been around a lot of interesting stuff.
I bet. So. Well, now you're going to shoot me.
Yeah,
awesome.
No, but I was going to tell you that another thing that they make at Rendezvous are guns. This is not one that was made at Rendezvous. This gun I carried on my Mexico to Canada ride, which was about 2,400 miles. So
this is why you were the consultant on the film that Beat was in.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They got a hold of me. I'm a member of the what's it called? Long Riders Guild.
Are you?
And to be a member, you have to ride 1,000 continuous miles in one trip. No intermission.
Right.
And to be associate member, you got to be you got to ride 600 miles. But everybody wants to be a full-fledged member, so you know, 1,000 miles. But how many people ride 1,000 miles on horseback one trip? Yeah.
And so you took this with you?
So I took this particular gun with me right here. And it's a muzzleloader. It's a 54 caliber.
Wow.
But this gun is an original. It's not one made now. This gun was made about 1840.
Really?
It was made in Germany. And one of my best friends that I was just at a rendezvous with, the one I just got done doing about a week ago, he was born in this town in Germany. He migrated here when he was young. And it's a small town, so the chances of finding a gun that he was born in or anybody that you knew was born in is crazy.
That's amazing.
But it's a double barrel. It's smooth bore on one side, and it's rifled on the other. So you can shoot elk, or you can to eat, you know, or deer, and or you can shoot grouse and turkeys and stuff like that. Whatever you need to stay alive.
Sure.
You know? Sure.
And all this is hand forged. I mean, it has to be, but God, it's gorgeous.
Right. Now, this gun on my Mexico to Canada ride, my pack horse came into camp one night. We were in Arizona. Actually, it was in the Gila Mountains in New Mexico. And I shoot him out, and on his way out, he stepped on this area and broke it. So I had to wrap it in rawhide, which is Indian mountain man glue.
Right.
And you wrap it real.
This is pre-duct tape.
It's wet. And you wrap it and tack it.
Okay.
And you put it in the sun, and it draws up as the moisture leaves it and becomes like the most powerful stuff you can imagine.
And it was still usable.
And it was still usable for the rest of the ride that I was on.
That's amazing.
But when I got back, I got a good friend of mine that builds rifles, and he fixed it the old way and put this brass splinter on it. And I put the old original screws in it because I wanted to keep its integrity, you know, from a long time ago going into modern times.
So what kind of wood is this?
It's maple.
Maple. And here's this for your shoulder?
Yep, that's for your shoulder.
It's pretty
I
nice.
don't use that though because I'm right-handed, but I shoot left-handed.
Okay. Oh, so it's not. Yeah. It's gorgeous.
But I've shot elk and deer and everything with this gun. And the reason it's got this on here is I carry it on horseback. You know, and you got to have your hands free with your pack horse here, riding this horse and everything.
He must be in heaven.
Yeah. So anyway,
very nice.
That's an original old one. This one, a friend of mine made up in Alaska.
Ah, it's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you heard of a Hawken?
No.
Okay. Have you ever?
Oh, yes, I have.
Jeremiah Johnson. He wanted a Hawken.
You can Hawken. That's how I know Hawken.
Well, this is reproduction made. I don't like to call it reproduction because it's not reproduction. It's just a modern made, original muzzleloader. And
it's left.
Huh?
He made it's left. Okay.
Yeah, because I shoot left-handed.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
And he made the gun. Hadn't seen him in a lot of years. Don McKee. And then I had a friend of mine, Blue Jacket Phil Sanders, and he fancied it up, converted it from percussion, which is a cap you put on and shoot, back to a flintlock, which you use a stone here. It makes sparks.
Makes a spark.
Ignites the powder in here, and then goes in a little hole and ignites the powder in the barrel and pushes the ball out. Okay. And he put all the fancy scroll work on it.
It's beautiful. If anyone can see, it's gorgeous. It's it's a lot heavier.
Yeah, it's a lot heavier.
It's a lot heavier.
But it's a nice gun. I like flintlocks a lot.
Yeah. So what is the original one? What kind of?
It's a percussion.
It's percussion.
It's the one you put caps on and stuff.
Gotcha.
And everything. Of course, everything has to be loaded in the bore. There's no bullets put in the gun from back here. Right. It's not a breech loader and stuff.
Wow.
So, and then you have your stick right there, ramrod. Ramrod. Okay. And that's what pushes the ball and everything down in the barrel.
So you, I imagine at rendezvous, that's where you can get your balls, and that's where you can get it.
Yep. And you can cast.
And they're lead?
You can cast your own balls with lead and stuff, and I do that quite often. You know, you have a bullet mold to do a round ball and stuff. Right. You just do that in the fire and then pour it in the mold and then open it up and a ball drops out. Wow.
Magic. What do you do for fire? What do you do for cooking?
We take our big lighter.
You know, there was a girl in the homeschool group, and she was learning survival skills and things. And I said, "Oh, you should know how to make fire." And she goes, "Well, I don't know how to make fire without a match, but I can."
Yeah. Well, the way fires were made.
Yeah, there you go.
Prior to, let's see, I think the first matches came about 1850, somewhere around there. But it was still new technology, and not everybody had it. Sure. So probably well into the 1870s, 1880s, people were still using flint and steel. And flint and steel is the way they made fires for hundreds of years.
I'm going to interrupt you for one second. I heard that my horse might need some attention.
Check it out.
But you can keep talking.
You bet.
No, you keep talking to our members here. Oh, I have the microphone. You can't.
Oh, that's right.
Never mind.
Well, I'll get things ready.
I don't want to stand on anything here.
You're not going to be gone long.
No, I hope not. Yeah, and it went down to the ground, which I don't want either. Are you stuck, buddy? What I don't want to do is spook him and let him get. Oh, he's way bad. Okay, hang on one second. Oh, yeah, this is pretty bad. Hey, buddy. Oh. You're all right. No, dog, get out of here. Oh. 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 Can you hold on one second? I'm going to take your halter off, okay? Oh. 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 Yeah, almost. Oh. 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 Good boy. Oh. Good boy. He was real. Oh. Oh. He was really good not to panic. I'm going to take my belt off. You were really good not to panic, buddy. And I learned my lesson about being sure there's something, oh boy, about being sure there's something to keep that rope from slipping down. Ho, ho, ho. Hang on. You're all right. Ho. Back up. Hang on. Well, I'm glad we did that, buddy. Oh. There we go. Hang on. That was an excellent lesson, everybody. Thanks for the heads up, James. The halter's all weird, but I think I can make it work here. Oh, that's because I ended the other side. Man, he was so caught up in this, everybody, that had he panicked, he would have gotten really badly hurt. But what a good boy. He didn't panic at all. Good boy. All right, let's figure out where we can tie you now where I can see you. How about that? Well, here come some people. Oh, Suzanne's coming. And oh, James, you're meeting. Okay. Well, I learned something. What not to do. I tied him up high, but the rope slipped down.
Oh, yeah.
And he had it literally.
You got to find like a knot or something sticking out of a branch.
When I tied him up, I thought, nah, I know. You know what? It's good to learn lessons. Let me tie him up over here. Thank you. Huh? Yeah. They call broomtail appy. Broomtail, okay. Oh, you're a good boy. You didn't panic. I'm so happy about that. He's going to be scared with all this. Tell you what I'm going to do. Oh. So we've got a bunch of stuff happening here. So I am just going to... No, it's okay. We can just talk out here if you want to. Because they're going to start talking to you, too.
How you doing, huh? How you doing? Yeah.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm being good.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. Whoa.
We're still on. Yeah. It's okay. Suzanne is here and a guest is here, and we just had to break for a second.
Suzanne's not bashful. She'll come.
No.
Hello, everybody. I couldn't stay away.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll leave you to it. Sorry.
It's okay.
You all out exploring the wilderness? Alrighty.
All right. Well, show me. I'll stand here.
Okay. Well, I was just going to show you about the fire.
Cool.
So, what everybody carried, because they didn't have matches back then, was flint and steel.
Right.
So they usually had it in a little bag. I carry mine in a pouch right here. right there, but this is just my extra one I've got. And in it, you would have your steel,
Okay.
which you could get your fingers through. And
Right.
this was usually made by a blacksmith.
Right. You all see that?
Sometimes they had decorative scroll work and hang beads off of it or whatever.
Wow.
And then a piece of steel that they would find on the
Right.
ground somewhere. Or I mean,
Right, okay.
Right. And there's areas in Utah that I've gone through on rides and stuff, and I found, I mean, I'm off my horse.
Sure,
like
wow.
crazy, you know, because you can sell it at Rendezvous.
Ah.
Not everybody
How
has
common is it to find on the ground? Not too?
When you
know
find
where you're
an
looking.
area where it's at, it's everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
But you have to find an area where it's at.
Okay.
And, and everything. So you got the flint and you have the steel,
Mm-hmm.
and it would make a spark. So when you hit that, you can see the sparks.
Yeah. Wow.
And those sparks are what's going to start your fire.
Sure.
To catch a spark, you had to have something called charred cloth. And you make this out of cotton.
Okay.
And usually they'd make it out of an old pair of socks, or, you know, today they'll get a cotton T-shirt or something that's wore out.
Okay.
And they'll cut it into little squares or whatever.
Okay.
But you take a little piece of this.
Okay.
And before I go to that, I just went out there while you were gone right now, and I picked this off the ground. It's cottonwood underbark.
Okay.
Here's the bark of a cottonwood tree right there, like on the trees right here.
Right.
And underneath is this membrane. And you take this stuff, see it's real dry.
Yeah.
And you just wad it up.
Okay. Okay.
So once it catches a spark. So let's go ahead and try to catch a spark here. I have done this before where I've had a hard time catching.
Sure. But it's
most of the time you don't. So anyway.
Okay.
So you put the charred cloth
over the flint.
On the side where the steel goes here and shaves off pieces of the spark.
Into the cloth.
Into the cloth.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So they already.
Oh, look at that.
There.
Look at that.
It's red.
Yeah. And then you put that into your.
That'll just keep burning.
Oh, and that's just cotton?
That's just cotton. And I'll show you how to make the charred cloth too. But you put that in there and then you start blowing it.
Oh, look at that. It's happening, everyone. Oh my God, look at that. You're all right. He's not too fond of the fire.
And there you go, the flame.
It's all right. We're not too fond of the fire, are we?
See the flame?
Oh, wow.
And then you put little twigs on there and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you make fire.
Wow.
In the 16, 17, and 1800s.
That's amazing.
And there's been more fires started with flint and steel than have been made with matches, because matches haven't caught up for how long back in history.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Been used.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
dang.
You take the.
And so do you cook? Do you use your Bic lighter at Rendezvous? Do you sneak one in? Nope.
Wash your mouth out with soap.
Oh, I should. I'm sorry.
No, nobody does. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that have done it or whatever, but you know, the ones that it's really in their heart and they love doing this, they want to do it right.
Of course.
You know, you want to do it the way you want to get into that mode and that spirit.
It probably never occurs to you not. It probably doesn't even occur to anybody not to do this. I think this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. But the charred cloth, you cut up little squares and you'll put it in a can like this. Mm-hmm. You just take a tin can and you put the cotton in there.
Wow.
And then you put quite a bit in there, like maybe 30 or 40 squares.
Okay.
Little squares of cotton.
Sure.
And you put the lid back on. It's got little holes in the lid.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay.
And you put that in the fire and it starts heating up. And then all of a sudden it starts burning the cotton inside.
I was going to ask you why it's called charred. Yes.
Right. And all the impurities in smoke form come out these little holes. And it's spewing smoke while it's in the fire sitting there. And when it quits spewing smoke,
it's ready.
Maybe give it another 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
And then you take this out, let it cool down, open it up, and you have charred cloth.
Was that a white T-shirt, basically?
Probably. I don't remember.
Okay.
I've said it so many
Oh,
times.
wow. Who knew?
You know, and that's it. That'll catch a spark.
And that's more pure cotton than something that's bad chemicals and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really,
none
really
of the
soft.
fake stuff.
It's really soft.
Nylon or anything. No.
Right.
They didn't have that back then.
Yeah, anyway, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, and then when you find this cottonwood bark, on the ground, you get this membrane out.
Hang on to it.
And you'll put it in your fire making bag and stuff, which I'm going to steal some right now.
No, go for it. Go for it. Wow.
And you're ready for a campfire.
Interesting.
Anywhere you go. So.
Interesting.
And there's so many aspects to this lifestyle in the history. The history is amazing. You start research. I've been researching it for 30 years.
Wow.
And when I watch a movie where they're trying to reenact,
it must drive you crazy.
Really, the mountaineer stuff, and everything, I can rip it apart.
I bet you can.
I can say that's all Hollywood.
I
bet there never existed.
Yes.
And there's a lot of that.
I'm sure.
A lot of folk tales.
Yeah. But we watch. There's nothing more obnoxious than a horse person watching a horse movie because it's just all wrong.
Right.
Gourd.
Yeah.
Water.
I wanted to tell you about this.
Okay.
This is a gourd that grew from a seed, and different shapes, different types of gourds will grow into a certain shape.
Sure.
And I'll give you another example here.
I'm so proud of you, man, for not panicking. You were in a bad way.
This is another gourd right here.
Oh, this is a gourd.
And it's in the shape of a canteen.
Oh, it feels like, is it covered in hide?
It's covered in rawhide, and that helps that if it hits something, it doesn't break.
Right.
Now, I've been on rides where, I'm getting a drink and I'm paying attention to something else, and I drop and it hits a rock and it's done.
Yeah.
Then you got to go make another one or find another way.
You made these?
I did. Made these, made this one. This is a bigger one. This is more for camp.
You carry water.
You pour the water in here, and that'll last quite a while. You got drinking water.
Yeah.
Now, what they would do is there's all kinds of seeds. He's definitely interesting.
He's a curious guy, isn't he?
There's all kinds of membrane and seeds inside this thing.
Yes.
So you have to drill a hole.
Yeah.
And you have to take a stick and poke in there and start breaking it all up.
Right.
Now, once you've done that for a while, then you take gravel, rocks and stuff that'll fit in.
Sure.
Quite a few of them.
That's why he does them in rawhide.
And
shake it,
and you shake it and shake it and shake it, and it starts breaking that stuff.
Sure.
So it's
takes a while.
To get it out. Now, once it's all cleaned out, then you take beeswax and you put in water.
Okay.
And you melt it. And then you pour it in here and you shake it around all over.
Right.
Really good.
Okay.
And pour the water back out with the beeswax, any that's left.
Right.
And then you do it again. Maybe you do it 2 or 3 times. And that coats the whole inside. So when you pour the water in here.
That was a nice.
Being honest.
Yes.
It actually just pure water. Doesn't mix with anything, not the sides of the gourd or anything.
That's amazing.
The gourd itself will start, if it's just a gourd and you leave water in it overnight, it'll start saturating the inside stuff, and it's not bad for you, but it's kind of milky colored and funky. But if you use the beeswax, it's totally...
Wow.
It's totally waterproof and everything.
And it's an instrument. I mean, I'm sure they did the same thing to turn it into an instrument.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
With
the drum.
Probably. But I make drums. I've seen them out of gourds, I think, before and stuff. I make gourds. I build a frame out of wood, then I take the rawhide over it. But even these small ones,
Nice. What do you think of that, buddy? It's like my life has been turned upside down.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and we make these at Dunrovin too. We have little classes.
We should. That's another winter thing we can do. And that cottonwood, the wood, it's real smoky fire.
Right.
Smells good.
Smells good though.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hat. We're always making some kind of clothing and stuff. This is a buffalo.
You want to smell the buffalo?
Buffalo hat.
That's a dead horse. He says that's a dead animal. I'm not happy about that.
And then you fold that part down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
wow.
Tie it underneath.
Yeah, but it's warm,
if it's
isn't
real
it?
cold, it'll keep your ears warm and stuff. And
that's
an
warm.
original style hat. They had these. And we're always looking for stuff that we can find in our historical research that they had back then, and then make something, and then everybody will see it and
I want. Yeah, it's very cool. Great if you want. Very cool.
I think these are made out of wool from a llama.
Yeah.
Alpaca.
Yeah.
They're real heavy.
They're really warm.
Yeah, super warm.
I was in Peru and Ecuador.
Water away from your skin.
Absolutely.
So if you're sweating or you get into water
wool's the best.
For some reason.
I just got brand new socks for the winter that wool.
Yeah.
Wool and a little cotton is great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Those are
and these
beautiful.
were handmade. I traded for them at Ronnie's and stuff and everything. But they're my winter socks when I go do winter things.
Nice.
And a pair of brain tan mittens, not gloves, but mittens.
Those are
and
amazing.
you usually wear a pair of wool mittens
underneath
or gloves, and then you put these on.
Sure, for a liner.
Right.
Now, what is this horn down here on the ground?
He's acting like a horse. My God.
We're just learning.
This is a buffalo horn.
Okay.
It's on the head of a buffalo and hollowed out, and I made a cup out of it.
Nice.
And I had this on my horse's saddle horn.
Well, all these smells, man.
What a horse.
He's a curious guy.
And
curious.
so you get down there and you get a little drink and drink it, and
awesome.
Just a cup.
Sure.
Just to carry with you and stuff on your.
You are
something ready that's right there.
Exactly. Lightweight.
Right.
Doesn't take up a lot of room.
Here's another gourd canteen I've been working on and stuff. So.
Okay.
And you can see the gourd part because this one isn't totally covered with rawhide, even though I got rawhide going around it a little bit here and there. So.
He's a good audience.
He is fantastic.
He has a lot of personality.
Inquisitive. That'd be a good name for him.
God, that is a good name. A curious.
Inquisitive. That's a
Quiz.
Mountain name.
Quiz. Okay.
I love it.
You are now quiz.
I was going to show you a pistol. This is an original pistol from about 1820.
Nice.
And it's a flintlock. And again, like I said, you cock it back, you put the powder in here after you've loaded it, and then you close this, and I'll just fire it off right there. But the flint hits the steel, makes the spark.
Makes the spark.
And it lights this powder. It's a finer grade of powder in here, and it goes in. There's a little bitty hole. If you look right there, there's a little bitty hole that's where the fire goes and lights the powder inside and causes combustion,
which pushes the ball out. That's amazing. You want to see that too?
High technology. You want to shoot this?
He's interesting, isn't he? I'm figuring him.
I don't think I've seen one yet.
I'm figuring him out. He wants to come in.
Yeah, I bet he does. It's the coat I've been wearing for a lot of years out of brain tan, and it's getting pretty warm.
Oh, that's really cool. Look at it. That's really cool.
And the fringe. Is
there a purpose for fringe?
Dual.
Okay.
Triple purpose.
Okay.
Triple purpose.
This is okay.
A fringe, if you get wet, will wick water off of the leather faster.
Nice.
And get rid of it. It will also break up your outline.
Yes.
Like, you go like that and you're scanning in trees and it's hanging down.
Okay.
And it's kind of a camouflage thing.
And maybe this is for if you need rope or you need to
I've done it many times.
Fix the bridle with that? Yeah. Okay.
Tie something.
All right.
Temporarily, especially. Okay. But it's also for looks.
Okay.
They like to dress up too, and make things kind of neat looking.
Wow, that's cool. Now we have a question from one of our members, Hawk. They noticed your wedding ring, and they're wondering if your wife goes on rendezvous.
She does. She
does. Okay.
Yeah. And we've been building our house, so it's been a while since we've both been into it a lot and stuff. But yeah, she's been on rides with me.
Nice.
And that's actually her dress.
Okay.
But we're going to make her another one, so we're probably going to sell that one at Rendezvous or whatever.
Very cool.
And but yeah, she loves going on the rides.
She has her own horse? She have a horse too?
Oh yeah, she has her own horse, Boone. And I ride Cazador, and we're going to be in the market next spring for a pack horse.
Okay.
So that way we can go on our rides.
Oh, very nice.
So. And then a couple more things.
Okay.
I did find my fork.
Okay.
So there's the two-pronged fork.
Great.
And the handle is bone. And it's thick here. That's called a tang, the metal part that runs through there, and then it tapers real thin.
Okay.
And that's how you can always tell if it's old or not.
Oh.
They don't make them that way anymore unless somebody's trying to make a reproduction. But the metal is thicker here.
Yeah, it is.
And then it's real thin.
Is that for weight, I wonder?
Yeah. I
wonder why. Strength, probably. Just strength at the end.
I think they were trying not to use too much metal for weight, and then metal wasn't easy to come by, so they could always use it to make different things.
Interesting.
And of course there's a knife.
Interesting.
And then this is a friend of mine made this
a horn
to me named Arlen. It's a sheep's horn.
Sheep's horn.
And it's my spoon for soup.
So turtle shell.
Turtle shell bowl.
Okay.
And
wow.
Indians use those all the time.
Sure.
They found a dead one or they killed one and ate it, and then they'd use the shell.
So great.
So, I mean, there's just so many different aspects to this whole thing.
It's so simple.
It is.
You have everything you need for life right here.
Simple and straightforward.
All you need is this and a horse, right?
Right. Exactly. And then you can go forever. And this stuff will last. I mean, nothing lasts forever, but compared to stuff nowadays, I mean, you're taking this stuff on a trail ride and stuff for many, many miles and maybe many, many trail rides and stuff, and it'll last for years and years and years.
No, it's so great. And this is an undoubtedly awesome knife.
That's called a Hudson Bay camp knife.
Okay.
Hudson Bay made this design.
Okay.
And it was meant to be an all-around knife that you could use in camp for cutting up meat and chopping things, but you could also use it as a survival knife. It was heavy enough duty that you could chop big limbs with it.
I was going to ask about
shelter
and making your kindling, making yourself some wood shavings.
I mean, you can see how thick it is and stuff.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. They're a good all-around knife.
It's a great knife.
Good all-around knife. And they're called Hudson Bay camp knives. All this stuff you can look up on the street.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait.
This is a rawhide sheath here. That's exactly the way the Indians would have made it. And if they could have got tacks.
Sure.
That's what they did. They tacked the leather and stuff.
Gorgeous.
And they would bend them over on this side.
Sure. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, and then they'd decorate it because they were into artwork, just like everybody is.
Of course.
It's the same. We're people.
Human beings.
Human beings. Exactly.
God, how nice that everything you need is right here.
Yeah. Oh, I'll show you one more thing here.
And our boy Quiz here, who's doing a pretty good job of keeping us.
It's a toothbrush. Bone handle and
it's a real toothbrush.
Yeah, and a wild boar bristle. Now this one I use for cleaning my gun now.
Sure.
Because I wore it out cleaning my teeth. Because I brush my teeth at least twice a month.
Oh, that's
so I wore it out.
That's way too much. Way too much. What did they brush their teeth with? Clay?
Well, they would take a brush or a little twig, and then they would take their knife and just put splinters in the end of it. And
toothpaste, though. No toothpaste. Nah.
Toothpaste is...
I use Bentonite.
A lot of people think toothpaste cleans their teeth.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's an abrasive. That's the only thing. But baking soda works just as good as any
I make my own.
Better than most.
I make baking soda, bentonite clay, and a little oil for fragrance. It's awesome.
But if you need gleam, go for it. And then this is a new one.
Oh, you can buy them new?
Yeah, you can get them new. That's a bone, boar bristle.
Oh, my God.
So that's what I take on my rides, you know.
Amazing. Amazing. And by the way, his cottonwood is still smoking in there, too.
Barely touch on all the stuff.
Oh, God, I bet. I bet.
That's in this world. It's I mean,
fascinating.
And I'd really like to get Suzanne, and she's shown some interest in possibly setting up some survival courses.
I'd love it.
Here.
I'd love it.
Getting, you know, teaching how to make fire with flint and steel or with a bow drill.
Absolutely.
You know, how to set up shelters.
Oh,
how
absolutely.
to set up primitive shelters if you have nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, and how you can stay warm at night still in cold weather and stuff if you don't have anything.
I think that'd be an amazing thing to do, especially in the winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just so many different things. You gotta have shelter, food, water, and clothing.
Yep.
And fire. Fire is a huge thing. A thing that a lot of people don't understand about fire is if you're lost somewhere in the wilderness and you're in a situation where you're by yourself, but you have a method that you can make a fire.
Sure.
When you make a fire, because it's been shown that people that get lost get depressed really quick and start losing hope.
Sure.
It doesn't take long. But if you can make a fire, it makes them last 5 times as long, because the fire, the energy from the fire,
the psychological
is something that warms, not just physically, but warms your spirit.
Isn't that cool?
And makes you where you can survive longer, you know?
Wow.
So like, wow, I've got fire. You know?
Yeah, at least I got
good. I got this light in the dark.
Yes, exactly. Oh, isn't that cool? That's very cool. Yeah. That's wonderful.
So, I mean, there's just all kinds of things. But I'd love to get her interested.
Yeah. Oh.
And maybe taking people out on horseback.
I think it'd be
spectacular. Doing primitive rides and teaching people how to do this in a primitive
Oh, that'd be
fashion.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm so right there.
Go do it, Kelly.
Let's do it. I got an appy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Appy.
His name's Crow. He didn't get much. Well,
good name.
His name's Quiz.
Crow Quiz.
Crow Quiz. That's what it is, buddy.
I like it. He's a good guy.
Yeah, we took him out when we cleared the trail. Remember that? I was on him.
Yeah.
Well, I bought him, so there you go. All righty.
A couple of my first horses were Appies, and they were just fantastic.
You know, yeah, they have a bad reputation, but it's like pit bulls. It's the dog and the person, not the horse. Exactly. Boy, he's sucking it up good, though, today. You're so angsty, but you're doing great.
But he's just curious. Yeah. That's all he is. He's just curious about everything.
He literally...
Which means he's living life. Once you're not curious about nothing anymore...
I completely agree.
You're done.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
You're
done. So...
Hey, sign me up. Oh, thank you so much. It was a lot of work for him to set this up, folks.
Everybody come to Dunrovin Ranch and let's learn some stuff together.
Let's do it.
Because it'll be fun.
Oh, I think we should
do it. It'll be fun, yeah.
We'll have classes.
I love kids and
Let's
people.
do it.
I do.
Having a bunch of kids out here in the winter making fire would be awesome. Would you guys like that? All right. We're going to call it a day now. Right. And I know that
God bless.
Hey, you two.
Take care.
We have dog training first today, and then donkey training at 6 o'clock. It's a heck of a day.
Oh boy.
Anyway, thanks so much for joining us.
I got to find my dog.
Yeah, we lost a dog. Thanks so much, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.